Hi, how you doing? Alan here. I was having a chat with Ryan last week about maybe doing a bit of content for the user group and also for his Substack channel. And I was going to focus on a bit of a big data example. So I'm going to build a system, not very complex, uses a minimal number of filters, and it's just to give you an example of how you can develop systems quite simply. It's using a bit of a big data and statistical approach, and I'm not going to put scary stats and maths on this. It's not complex. So let's start with the principles of a system called Big Data Example. I had to research again to show that it's a clear system. You can see that in Hedger, you've got a total of 61,236 races across 574,606 bets. So that's a huge data pool. Now, from a statistics perspective and a math perspective, the bigger the data size, the bigger the sample size, the more confidence you've got in your data. And that's something to really think about when you're developing a system, is that sometimes you should really look at how niche is the system I've created. I'm now guilty of creating far too many niche systems in the past. So these days I'm trying to create systems where I'm looking at is my bet count for the system in history pretty reasonable. So I would suggest anything you've got that's maybe less than, I don't know, 300-400, it's maybe a bit too niche. So let's start with this system. As you can see, if you took the number of races divided by the number of bets or vice versa, you get to an average field size of around 10. Now, purely from a simplistic perspective, I'm going to build this as a 10-runner system. And this is where you're starting to play a bit of the mind games of statistics and probability. So if every race was fair and the runners and the riders and the trainers were all the same, and a field size of 10, each horse would have a 10% probability on it. And that's one thing to think about. The field sizes dictate a lot of the time where your value is going to be. I'd play an awful lot in field sizes between 8 to 12. That's my kind of sweet spot. The one thing that dominates any race of this field size is the price of the favourite. So I have researched this system. I'm just going to put in some numbers to kind of demonstrate how you can go from this graph that's not producing any profit. If I bet on every horse here, you can see I'd be losing lots of money. So I'm going to apply a minimal number of filters to come up with a system that is profitable and gives you good yield. So the first thing I'm going to look at is filtering out on the favourite price. And again, I'm looking for a bit of a sweet spot on a 10-runner system. So again, I have researched this. It felt to me to be around a favourite price of 1.60. So that reduces my my bet count straight away. I'm now down to just about 25,000 bets in place. But you see some strange things start happening. You see how the graphs or odds rank start flattening out. That you can see there's a potential profit area in here. It goes a bit flat, and we can build a system around that. So I'm going to focus on an odds rank of test this on 5 and 6. So the 5th and 6th favourite. So still not profitable. This is going to be a flat system, so I'm going to start adding the flat filters in. What does that get us now? Okay, so now over the full period I've become profitable, but my drawdown is pretty horrendous. So the next filter I'm going to apply is going to be the BFFC filter. And I use this filter quite a lot because it's kind of quite a strong market indicator about what price should this horse be. So just applying the BFFC filter, I've now created a system with a yield of about 20. And drawdowns getting to a reasonable point, and the points are pretty reasonable. I'm not going to fixate on my anti-back fit period here. In fact, just for the purpose of testing, I'm going to set it to 0. What we're going to focus on now. You see, I've actually not put in the price of the runner at this point in time. I'm going to add that in almost last. I'm going to start discounting some race types for lots of reasons. I mean, these are races where maybe you would not be too confident how it's going to shake out, or it might be that the strong favourite's going to win. So I'm going to discount all those race types. Okay, so I get to a pretty healthy set of data here. 504 points, 51 drawdown, yield of 35. That's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Just going to quickly snapshot that. That's not bad going. Now, again, you could run that system if you really felt like it. It's kind of going to make you money over the piece. Adding the back fit back in, it's negative for a month. For 4 months, it's positive. Over a year, it's not bad. So it's kind of making you money. It's not making you the full yield there, but there's a danger in adding too many filters in, and there's a danger of over back fitting, which I'm really trying to avoid here. I want to keep this bet count as high as I possibly can. Again, it's all about proving the data. But I'm going to add in, I think, another 3 filters. I'm going to add in the day, the month, and I'm going to add in the price of the horse. Because they jumped out to me when I built the system that there was obviously some profit given up on certain days and certain months. I'm going to discount Tuesday. I'm going to exclude it. And I'm going to take out February. Again, the ability to filter in order on the columns kind of lets you easily see which are the worst performing months. You could take out April, for example, yield's lower, but I'm just going to take out February. Exclude. Brilliant. So now it's a pretty reasonable system, 580 points, maximum drawdown of 70, getting there. You can kind of see there's a bit of a sweet spot here, right? It's in this area. It's high odds. I'm not saying it's maybe a system you'd want to bank your house on, but it's with a decent amount of data, giving a good outcome. Now, what did I get us to? So it's still a pretty healthy system. 500 races over 4.5-ish years. 672 bets, so a good data size. 62 wins, strike rate 9%. Drawdown's pretty manageable. Average odds is 22. So again, simple test you can do. Your strike rate times your average odds is, in the region of 110, 120 up to about maybe 200. You've kind of got a good system. It's got a good yield. He's good. All good. I'm going to leave this video at that, and there is further optimization you could do. Now, this is the trade-off, right? The more optimizing you do in a system, the smaller your bet count is going to be on a historical system. The smaller your bet count, the less confidence you've maybe got that it's a robust system. So there's always a trade-off there. That's a trade-off you've got to try and manage. So I hope that was a kind of quick, useful demonstration. Field size, just go back. Field size is really important. Favourite odds is really important. Those two elements dictate more than anything how the race prices are going to be built up. And then what you're trying to do for different field sizes is find value. Flat racing's got one strong thing to it, that you're not going to get many pulled ups, you're not going to get many fallers, you're not going to get many riders being unseated. So, flat racing's a good starting point for beginners. And hopefully from there you can develop a few systems that will give you some pounds in your bank. Thanks very much.